Well, this is very difficult to get into. Got the fire pit going. Got the little heater going I got from Amazon. It's not the greatest because this place isn't finished, of course. It isn't completely sealed off. Bubby doing what he can to get up here where he can help. Went ahead and pulled that header wrap off. It was leaking, or not leaking, it was ripped and causing a mess, so we just went ahead and peeled it off for right now. Trying to get in here to these other bolts to tighten this up, because I ended up having to move a fitting. I had it over here, moved it to there, so we can actually maybe get the belt to clear so we can get an alternator on this big bad boy. I'm going to end up putting the factory bracket back on it, as well as the alternator. It's factory alternator. I got my sidekick out here helping me, so he's gonna hold them bolts. I'm gonna get a few of these bolts in here right quick, and then we'll continue, and I'll show you what's going on. Those bottom bolts have proved to be very difficult to get in and out. Got the last one here to tighten up, and we'll start hooking some hoses up right quick, and then we'll get into why I'm putting the alternator back on this thing. And I promise you probably want to stick around to hear what I've got to say. This video ain't gonna be a very long one. There's not much going on in it. More or less, we need to have a discussion about some track etiquette and what not to do, because doing some of the things I'm about to talk to you about will definitely get you hurt if you get hurt if you get caught. So give me just a few more minutes and we'll get straight into that. So there's a reason that we're putting the alternator back on it. We were Decker boys, and you know, this whole 16-volt system is very fresh with us. So, you know, we're charging it every single pass to make sure that we don't have no issues. I, as well as Brad, and Jared was also afraid that between rounds, if we didn't charge, we may find ourselves in an issue where the batteries get low, the truck won't start, or is down on power because it doesn't have the fuel pump pushing the way it should. That being said, we found ourselves in the finals, and we have a while between the semis and the finals. About an hour. They had a few rounds of small tire, a few rounds of the streetcar class, and I think 2 or 3 rounds of the street bike class before they wanted to run all the finals together. And we go up to get the truck, which is about, I'd say at least a quarter mile or a little better, you know, from the start line. And we're parked way out there away from a lot of people, but still middle of the place, you know. I go to unhook the battery, and the battery's already unhooked. I look at the switch, and the charger is also turned off. So somebody was nice enough to come by and unhook the battery charger and turn it off for me. And between rounds, that was the only thing I was doing. Is I would come to the truck, my phone was dead, and I didn't have a flashlight, so JoJo would use his flashlight on his phone. And we'd hook the battery charger up, turn it on, and we would just walk back to the start line and wait for them to start calling for us to come back up. I find it very highly unlikely that we would have made that type of mistake, especially considering 16-volt was fresh on our minds, and we didn't want to make that mistake. And I didn't tell anybody, just Joe that was with me, JoJo, you know, married him. Very, very few people knew about that, and I have no way to prove anybody done it, so I ain't gonna say nothing. Last night, you know, I just decided to give my buddy Tyler Fields a call and told him what I was doing. I said, I'm putting this alternator back on. Told him exactly what I just told you. He said, it's funny you say that. We don't want to accuse anybody of messing with someone else's car or truck at racetracks, but it happens. There's been more than once now that I've had shock settings changed on my truck, and I go to make a pass, the truck doesn't even try to react or move, and all of a sudden I just blow the tires off and lose. Tyler was there once when it happened to me. He didn't want to believe it. He was like, man, you maybe just made a mistake. So Tyler, the settings were maxed out on one side all the way tight, and the other side was all the way loose. I didn't make that type of mistake. None of my guys would have made that type of mistake, and none of the people that go racing with me will make any type of adjustment without discussing it with me first to see what my opinion is on it, if we do need it or not. We were at Cumberland, and we were all excited to be there. You know, we stayed a few days, and I made a comment to Tyler about checking shock settings the next morning when we woke up. So it's fresh on his mind. Mine checks out, his checks out. So nobody messed with the truck or car overnight. You know, there's a lot of small tire cars before us. So he goes up, he walks the lane, he comes back, has it in his head, the adjustments he wants to make. He goes and makes the adjustments as he should. He gets to the staging lanes, there's a bunch of pairs in front of him. Watch the lanes one last time. Watch the lanes one last time and said, okay, you know, I think where we're at is okay. He gets up there and he has a second guess. And right before his burnout, he tells his wife to turn the rebound knob on the top to the right 3 clicks. They should have been way up there. He knew it was going to be really tight. He makes his pass, the car does this big nasty wheelie, of course, he loses. He's upset, can't figure out what's going on. You know, why did the car wheelie that hard? It shouldn't have wheelied with the front end that tight. And he comes to the trailer and he's upset about it. You know, wouldn't we all be? And he wants to check that shock setting. And sure enough, it only had 3 clicks. When he left the trailer and come to the staging lanes, he had put I don't know how much, but he had put some amount of rebound clicks in front shocks. One time he got out of the car in the staging lanes and he made his way to the start line and back, somebody had backed his shock rebound off all the way to 0. And the only adjustment that was in it was what his wife had put in it for that pass. You guys need to start watching your cars and trucks a little more. There's people out there that don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you do well. You and your crew need to make a point that if you see anybody around your car or a friend's car that shouldn't be there, make your presence known. A lot of people I know, if they were caught messing with this truck, let me rephrase that. A lot of people I run around with, if they catch someone messing with this truck that doesn't belong, it's going to be a bad day. Because that can get me hurt, it can get me killed. Losing a race is the least of the problems, you know. And if someone is willing to go out there and make an adjustment change like that on you to screw your race, it's just bad. It's just bad news, man. Y'all need to be paying attention a little more and be a little more careful, and that's just one more reason to keep the front end back on your car. Tyler made that point. He wanted to put the front end back on his car for that reason. His shock adjustments are up top. I think they're like a Mustang. I'm pretty sure they're a Mustang pullover on that car. It's so easy for somebody to do. So the point of me putting the alternator back on here, let me grab it. The point of me putting this back on here is this will not charge the 16 volt the way that it should. You know, I've got an adjustable potentiometer. I can set this to charge at a high voltage, but I need the amperage. I need all the amperage I can get to maintain those batteries the best of my ability. And I'm still going to charge it every single round, but with an alternator, it'll be that much better. The charger I have is a 15 amp. It can put a charge back in the batteries, but it takes time. There's been a few times that we have had to turn the truck around and get it right back to the lanes pretty quick, and it's a little nerve-wracking not knowing if the truck is going to start or if you're going to have what it takes to make the pass. And I would personally hate to be halfway through a pass and the batteries get too weak to run, but that type of thing happens. I've done a water pump delete and an alternator delete. The water pump is a remote Davis Craig pump in the rear. And when I done 16 volt, a lot of people told me I didn't need an alternator. That is absolutely a lie. This truck has got two 16 volts in the back, and in one pass, they're done. There's a lot of fans on this truck, and electronics and pumps, and it's just a high demand for battery power and amperage. So we're going to have to put this thing back together because I can't afford to be back at another track. The batteries be dead with no time to charge it and everybody's in the lanes waiting on you. I don't want to be that guy. So I'm going to put this thing on here right quick, turn this camera around and let you see that. I'll show you what I've been fighting and why this was so aggravating, why I didn't put the alternator back on the center.
This is this.
Oh, okay. So this is the grill?
Yeah.
And that's the intercooler? Oh, this is? Oh, okay. So anyways, the whole point of me taking the alternator off of it and taking the water pump off is, well, for one, I didn't need the water pump. I have the Davis Craig in the back. Davis Craig, however you want to say it, tomato, tomato. Doesn't matter to me. But we got rid of the alternator and bracket, which is 18.5 pounds, 18 pounds, somewhere in that nature. But it is more important to us to have a proper charging system and cooling system. It is more important than just a few pounds. The truck is already heavier than it needs to be anyways, so whatever. It ain't gonna get much lighter. Not with me in it. I'm a big old boy. Man, I wish I could get this stuff easier, but the guy that engineered this hot side didn't think about having to work on it. Get this stuff on here right quick, then we can show you what we're planning on a belt. Then I'll show you why I had to take that water pump bracket or water pump delete deal that I built here. Why I had to take it off. So, if you can tell, that fitting now hangs straight down, and that little spot there is where the fitting was coming straight out, and the fitting come out 90'd and then went back, which obviously that didn't work because when it came down, the fitting stuck out dead in line with where the belt was. So now A, B, C, D, elemental P. You better
What, Daddy?
Terminator.
Is.
It is. Let me see that.
Like this is what being
That, yeah, you done pretty good at that. Oh man. Oh, he's gonna be designing your next logos. But yeah, so now I should be able to do a slip fit style belt. Find out what it's going to take to come around the crank up and around here. And I probably don't need this, but I'm going to run it. That way the length of belt that comes all the way down doesn't flap so hard when we get up to high RPMs. And speaking of high RPMs, a little plug for Motion Raceworks. If you're running a LS1 style alternator, they will crank to about 6,500 or 6,400 before they start having issues. But if you run a truck one, like I run, then like 5,800 to 6,000 RPM, they quit charging. So they have a built-in deal. I don't know what it's called, but they will quit charging. And if you have a data log, then you'll be able to verify that. We did. So we bought their, I believe this is a 3-inch pulley, maybe a 3.5, I'm not for sure. But we bought a 3-inch pulley to slow this alternator down. Granted, it does self-excite the way that, I mean, obviously I don't have the wiring on it now, but I have a excite wire that I run that kicks the alternator on when we're ready to turn it on. If you run that all the time, you will have issues. If you run that thing all the time, it'll run your batteries dead pretty quick. Ask me how I know. I have to hook my little steam vent deal up here, get that on, then I can put my water back in. I'm gonna fill it up through the front the best I can, hook my hose up to it, and then I'll go to the back. I'm not going to show you the back of this truck, it's a damn mess, but it is quite a job to get antifreeze back in this motor. And I really hope that my welds don't leak, because if I did on that or that would be my fault if they leaked. These I didn't do, but whatever. So the boys are playing No Limit, and my buddy Austin has a game set up with Lyric.
And I'm probably gonna get smoked.
Austin was ranked number 3. Turn that phone a little bit so we can see it. Austin was ranked number 3. You better get ready. In the country. And boy, did you just suck. How bad did he beat you by? What he 60 foot?
Not that bad. Not that bad.
Not that bad. Let me see it.
I 60 footed.
Turn it around so we
A
can see it.
0.835 and he's 60 footed at 518. Daddy.
Oh, here you go.
Daddy.
What, Bubby?
I'm gonna sell it and buy off a milk way faster.
Well, yeah, we can't get a dragster for you.
Unless you get some money.
Yeah, so I need to get back to work, guys, before my phone dies. Me and Ariel threw some coolant in this thing, and I've been bleeding the system the best of my ability. Always make sure if you have fittings like this, the highest points, you bleed the air out, or at least try to bleed the air out. I'm gonna fire this thing up. It's ice cold. This thing's always got the same startup procedure, and the reason I'm starting it, by the way, is I've had the fuel lines off of it up here. There's some air in the line, and I really don't have to start it, but I want to run some fuel through them rails. And what's going to happen is this truck will fire up and die, and then immediately fire back up and it'll be fine. It's kind of the thing that always does. Well, maybe. That's enough for tonight. We got some heat in it. See you guys on the next one.